One thing, and I can tell you what, you can see the positive emotions bubbling along in the room, can you? You can feel it. There's one thing we've got to be very careful of, and our self-awareness has to be really strong. We've got an evolutionary negativity bias. Remember we were cavemen and cavewomen? Saber-toothed tigers wanted to eat us. We had to find food. So human beings, evolutionary-wise, have always they look at something, they look for what's a threat or what's wrong with it. Okay? It's in our DNA. If we're aware of that, when you look at something, try and look for what is right. Even if what's right is that big, try and focus on what's right and what's good. It's a far better world. How many of us, honestly, look at something and say, what's wrong with that? Yeah, we do. Hey, putting your hand up, that's our natural propensity. But if you're aware of that, what can we do? Overcome it. It's a better world. And the other thing, negativity undermines resilience. What is resilience? I love asking this question. Being able to bounce back. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah. Anyone else? Resilience. Sticking at something. Yeah. Anyone else?
I would say having the courage to go back and try again.
Have again, failing well. Going back, having another go.
Dealing with resistance.
Sorry?
Dealing with resistance.
Dealing with resistance. Yeah.
Character building.
Character building. To do all those things you've just said, and they all are resilient. What skills do you have to be able to do that? Do you reckon just flick a switch and say, I'm going to be resilient today? Well, there are 7 skills that we have to cultivate in ourselves and in kids to be resilient. I think they're on about page 7, are they?
Yeah.
So the people that did this were Karen Rievich and Andrew Shaddy. And have a look at those 7 skills. Have you got optimism and hope for the future? Are you flexible in thinking? Do you strive to build social connectedness? Have you got empathy for others? Because if you haven't got each of those 7 fairly well developed, it is impossible to be resilient. Like the flexibility in thinking. One thing that standardised testing has done is that there's a thing called the Habits of Mind hubs, and run by James Anderson. It was fantastic. And something like 70% of Australian schools explicitly taught habits of mind. We taught kids how to think in more intelligent ways. That's what habits of mind is, yeah? So if you want to get kids and move them, we've got to teach them how to think more intelligently. Since in the last decade, there's been so much pressure on schools to focus on 2 things, and I'm not going to say what they are, but we all know what they are. Instead of 70%, under 40% of schools now explicitly teach habits of mind. If you want to improve L and N, wouldn't teaching kids how to think more intelligently be the smartest way to do it? That's what I would have thought. So I'd be going back to explicitly teaching habits, more intelligent ways to think. Can you do a self-assessment, please? Just for you. Where do you think you are on each of those? What needs a bit of work? Remember, we're trying to become our best possible selves. You find it challenging again, young lady? Come on, let's do it. It's interesting, wasn't it? No, you're having See, I can't shut them up. Hey, that's really good. Let's make this comment. You're enjoying talking about really this stuff's really probing the inner you, yeah? You're learning about yourself and thinking about it. And the conversations, I'm going from table to table, they're really engaging. There's eye contact. People are there's a meaningful conversation. And I ask, why can't we have these conversations in class with kids? See, kids don't care what you know till they know you care. Ben doesn't care what I know till he knows I think he's a good bloke. And with kids, you can't teach them till you reach them. So, if kids, look, you could be, when we used to employ staff, we only look for one thing. I've never looked at an academic record ever in employing staff. All they had to have was one thing, passion. If they had passion, guess what? We could teach them how to teach. Everyone got the drift? So in this room, show that you got passion. And I reckon if you take that in a classroom, the kids might monster you, but once they know you care, they're going to be very kind to you. Kids don't care if you're a fantastic maths teacher. They can give us stuff. He's a good bloke. I can learn something off him. Does everyone see the drift? Fred was just talking about that. When people realise it's about the person, it's not about the subject. That's why I love primary teachers. I really struggle when I talk at primary conferences. I'll tell you why, because pedagogically, sorry secondaries in this room, pedagogically they destroy our secondaries. Because it's a whole kid. And I think, you get what I'm talking about though, it's a whole person, yeah? Alright, have a look on the right hand side, the ways, this is how I coach people on developing each of them. Have a look at them. In the last session, I'll take you through the website and show you all this stuff, okay? Have a quick look. Can someone tell me when it's nearly 10 o'clock, please?
Nearly 10 o'clock.
Okay. Crazy. All right. I do this every time. I've got this really good script and I just stuff it up every time. Okay. I'll just whiz through a bit because we're going to get our laptops and we're going to do our character strengths test. Yeah? Okay. I just want to whiz through this. I'm going to go back to Wellbeing Fitness Challenges. They are fantastic things. I wrote these, created these to build people's self-regulation and self-awareness. Awareness. And these are fun little things. As a staff, there are things in the books for kids too. Say, okay, this week, thinking of others. So we do that for a week. And on a board in the staff room, you write down funny things that have happened while you're doing it. Yes? And people just put up, I texted this guy the other day and this happened, or I did this. So positive vibes there. I do a dumb thing on the mainland. Most of our freeways are car parks. You have that over here? You have any car park freeways?
Some of that one.
They just stop. You sit there, you're sitting there, 110 zone, and you're doing 0. So there's one thing I do to think of others. It sounds dumb. Try it. It's a real good fun thing. I've got this thing on my car. I just spin it to get all my contacts. So I spin it, and when it stops, I just press green, ring. I don't even look at who I'm ringing. The person goes, "Oh, how are you, Mick? How you going?" I said, "Who am I talking to?" They go, "You rang me, you idiot." And what a positive way to start a conversation, yeah? And now we have this bouncy conversation. I mean, actually, I said that 2 weeks ago at this big school, and this guy said, "Shit, I'm going to have to take my ex's phone number out of the phone." Yeah, that'd go real well, wouldn't it? So look, they're good. I didn't mean to talk about that. All right, I'll talk about the family in a little while. We've had a few wife interchanges and that, you know, that happens. We've got 3 sons. But, you know, they come and go, you know that. All right, quickly, well-being. Now, this is just one thing about the hypocrisy of this PISA stuff. PISA is an organisation that just doesn't deal with cognitive. 99% of teachers in this country think the PISA rankings, they think about that. Have a look. Look at the PISA elements of wellbeing. Psychological, physical, social. Do we ever hear about them? No. So that's one model of wellbeing. 5 ways. That's a new economic foundation in England. If you did all of those, would you be a pretty happy person? That's another way. Do pedagogies for deeper learning. I think it's more than just pedagogies. If you do all of those, is that a pretty good model for wellbeing too? Then UNESCO. This was the first model ever made. And you focus on each of them. And spiritual isn't going to church. Spiritual is having a higher purpose than yourself. Yeah? Some people love the planet. Some people really throw themselves into charity. I met a 19-year-old. We live in an apartment over the road from a supermarket. Every afternoon, this 19-year-old, this is in Tweed Heads, backs his ute up and he gets all the out-of-date food. And Tweed Heads is a nice place to be homeless because it's warm. We've got homeless shelters everywhere. He drops all the food off to the homeless shelters every night. 19 years of age. So when I'm home, I'll go and help him load it every night. You know, that's spiritual, isn't it? He really cares about other people. So, this is PERMA. Seligman started all this, Marty Seligman, and he forgot about vitality. His model was just PERMA. He didn't worry about vitality and fitness and exercise and health. So that's what started. So I use that model, and this is the model that's on the second page. They're all equally important. Yeah? Now, after the break, we're going to do a stock take on that. So, that's the only one that's got to run in this country in the last 10 years. True? Yeah? It's the only one. You know what? I want to whiz through, I'm going to go through a few. Character strengths. Now, we're going to use our laptops in a minute. Just quickly what they are. Seligman and Peterson and his PhD students and a guy named Delarue studied every culture, religion. They studied Christianity, they studied Islam, they studied Buddhism, they studied Hinduism, Taoism, all of them. And they found 24, firstly they found 6 virtues that were in every one of those religions. Okay? And then they found for wisdom, these are the strengths you use, to show wisdom. These are the strengths you use to show courage. Humanity, these are the strengths you use. Is everyone seeing where I'm at? And everyone in this room is a star. We've got our own mix of character strengths. And I'll show you how it comes back to you after you do the survey. That's mine. And it goes right down to 24. And those ones there, that's what I've got the most of out of those strengths. That's what I've got the most of. And everyone in this room will have a different lot to me, but there's no such thing as a bad strength, is there? Is there a bad strength? No. Would you be keen to know what yours are? I bloody hope so. Okay, so can we fire up our laptops, please? Please don't think too much about the questions, and bear in mind it's an American scientific study, and Americans ask some funny questions sometimes. So it's more your gut feeling on it, just bang, bang, bang. It's 25 minutes, let's do it. Hey everyone, for a minute. There are no bad strengths, but I'd like to just make a comment. Sometimes we overuse our strengths and misuse them. Okay, so perseverance, if you keep flogging a dead horse and doing it the same way and it's not working, good perseverance is to go and try something else. So wouldn't it be good in your faculties and your groups to talk about what your strengths are? And for your students, there's a student survey, and get the kids, when they encounter difficulty, say, hey, what are your strengths? Show me your strengths wheel. Which ones can we use to overcome it? It's a totally different, it's a strengths approach, not a deficit approach. Or in class, you can say, Craig, I know humour's one of your top strengths. I think perhaps you're overusing it today. Or a kid who's daydreaming. You know, say, I know curiosity is one of your top strengths, Abby, but I think perhaps you're a bit too curious today. It's a different dynamic, yeah? I remember saying to a kid in class, this kid, I was a maths phys ed teacher, and remember this kid sitting in class, Bill, he's looking out the window. And I said, Bill, what are you doing? Bill said, I'm thinking, sir. I said, stop that, get on with your work. So I was just so fixated on getting through the, what? Curriculum. In the end, I thought I did pretty well when I got through about half the curriculum, because the kids turned out a lot better. You know, I still got the messages and the processes across. Okay, we're going to have a break now, but can you do this, please, while you're having a cuppa? Character strengths, positive personal descriptors on people around the world. We've got a few American basketballers up there. Look how high they've put the darn. You're going to have people doing that, right on it. Can you put down what you think your colleagues' strengths are and what you think their positive personal descriptors would be to describe them? Let's have a break. We're back here at 5 to 11, please.